Hello, everyone, and welcome to Around the Ballpark podcast. This is your host, Mike Redmond, alongside Darren Redmond, who is here. And we are very excited. We have very special guests, which we'll get to meet in just a moment. But we are here to talk about the Boston Red Sox. Spring training has started 2 days in, I believe, actually 3 days in, depending on what team you're for. So a lot to talk about. But Darren, hopefully you're doing well. As always, before we do anything else, we got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Nashville Tax Solutions, who was in at George Steinbrenner Field today, taking in the Yankees-Mets game. Got there at 7 o'clock in the morning and was able to do an on-field breakfast, meet about to the players. He sent me that screenshot with Aaron Judge, so he seemed to have a great day. The Mets got the win, so awesome there. But Darren, go ahead and share a few words about our sponsors.
You know, as we're kind of really going quickly through February, listen, you may be dealing with some tax issues, right? Maybe you're behind on filings, you got hit with a lien. Let me tell you about Nashville Tax Solutions. These folks know their stuff and they actually care about helping you fix it. And I've heard from people from all over who said that Chris Bennett and his team turned a financial nightmare into something that they would have peace of mind with. So if tax stress is keeping you up, don't let that happen. That is unhealthy and unnecessary. Call 855-627-4829, visit NashvilleTaxSolutions.com, or email info@NashvilleTaxSolutions.com. Nashville Tax Solutions, real people who get real relief for you.
Thank you, Darren. And so our special guest of honor tonight, you know him as at JPJ Loves Gaming. So if you wouldn't mind, just a quick intro to yourself, who you are, what you do, and then where everybody can find you on social media.
Yeah, hi, I'm JPJ. Happy to be here. Thank you guys for inviting me on. I do a lot of pro wrestling content. I am a big-time wrestling guy, so I do a show called Between Two Beards every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Love Wrestling. I do some work on Sunday afternoons at Fightful on Fightful Overbooked. I also work for Body Slam, so you can find me throughout the week. If you follow me at JPJ Loves Gaming everywhere, though, I release my schedule every Monday where you can kind of find me doing that. I'm a passionate, lifelong Massachusetts-born Boston sports fan. I've loved the Red Sox and all Boston teams my whole life. Baseball is my favorite sport, so I'm excited to be here, excited to talk. I mean, obviously, you know me, I can talk wrestling, I can talk whatever you want, but I'm excited to come on here and talk and try not to get angry when I talk about the Boston Red Sox.
I think we can get through this together because, as you know, we are life-suffering Met fans, so completely different dynamic for both teams, but we're both kind of in the same boat in terms of frustration and what we expect and what the talking heads are trying to get us to believe. But one thing I wanted to start by saying, I love, one of the, I haven't yet jumped on the TikTok world, but what I love so much about X is getting that instant feedback and especially being the only one in the household that's a wrestling fan and whatnot, and kind of starting there for a moment. But I love being able to go to a select few that I really can value their opinion, yourself included, on X when something goes down, where there's nobody else instantly that I can connect with that understands it the way we do. And so even if we 80% of the time we agree and 20% of the time we disagree on something, what I look for is what you bring to the table, which is a conversation instead of what some people would put out there and stuff like that. So even if there's something that I disagree with, the way that it's worded on your end, I always respect that. And so really excited to have you back on to talk about the Red Sox. But of course, a little bit, we'll dive into wrestling a little bit, but I really enjoy what you do over there, and whether I get to comment or not, I'm always listening, always there, supporting. So
No, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. And I feel like, in the world we live in, there's not a lot of back and forth conversation, or is not as much as there should be. It's usually just barking at each other, and it's like, okay, we're not really getting anywhere.
There's nothing beneficial about that. I mean, it's clickbait nonsense.
Yeah.
It's tired. It's old. It's just nothing to it. Can't learn from it. It's not enjoyable.
No. And if I'm watching Monday Night Raw, there's going to be things on that show that I really, really like that you guys might have thought was just okay. or you didn't like it, and there might be something that you thought was the best part of the show, and I was like, nah. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong. Now, I'm a stubborn Boston jerk, so I'm going to think I'm right. But, like, that doesn't necessarily mean I am definitely right? So, like, there are times, like, and I am stubborn. I will argue my point if I need to, or I feel like I need to. I do have that in me. But at the end of the day, like, as long as we're both enjoying this, the only thing I don't like is when it's clear that you're just doing that to, like, be negative and get it. Like, I don't have time for that. You want to be constructive, fine. You should be constructive about the things you like or love. Like the praise and the love you give it also comes with being critical. I love the Boston Red Sox, but a decent chunk of what we talk about today, it's not going to sound like I love the Boston Red Sox. I know that, but I love them. And the reason why I feel that way and I get annoyed and angered at them at times is because I love them, not because I just need to come on here and be a negative, critical jerk for no, you know, and there's just, you know, and that's just kind of how
Listen, I feel you, and I'm going through the same thing with the Mets right now. I had one person today, it was ridiculous, blocked, me because I said, and I quote, don't worry, Met fans, David Stearns has a plan. And they're like, oh, let's get past that already. No, I'm not going to get past it. I still think he did a horrific job this offseason, and his hubris is why we're where we're going to be. Do I want the Mets to win World Series? Of course I do. I love the Mets. But, so I know what you're saying. And, as you may know, I live on Cape Cod. So, I'm very familiar with what goes on. With Boston.
Be safe down there. It's going to be a crazy day tomorrow. And I've been, I go on the Red Sox fan pages. I feel like I'm a small potato, but I'm somewhat in the Red Sox social community and things like that. And I've been arguing with people since last May or June or July when Devers got traded. Now, I've been arguing with people the whole time because there are just people that are like, oh, well, he was a problem in the clubhouse. Good riddance. And I'm like, okay, that could be the case. However, that just because he's a problem in the clubhouse, if he was, because why anyone would believe Red Sox management is beyond me, because they've lied to us for like a decade straight now about anything they're doing. So why anyone would believe them, that's beyond me. But you have these people that just say that, and it's like, okay, well, even if he was to the point where they had to get rid of him, that does not excuse them for the return that they got for a perennial all-star who hits 30 to 35 home runs and drives in 100 RBIs every year. He could have been a problem, and we could have had to get rid of him, and we did play better once we got rid of him. But that doesn't mean you give him away for a bucket of balls. That doesn't mean that, and it's just back and forth, and it's just, it just comes with the territory.
It's not going to be the end all be all, but a lot of that, we're happy that it is mostly off of, not all the way off of ESPN, but it's not quite what it was on ESPN, because ESPN, unfortunately, was kind of the leading person into that in terms of spreading that information that was just not accurate. And they force you to believe things. They try to force you to believe things that are just not true. And tying in the Mets part of this, we were told that the reason for the moves, losing Nimmo, losing Alonso, losing McNeil, a couple others, was that we are improving on defense and run prevention. But we are to believe that. However, we're starting the season with a shortstop playing third base, a second baseman starting at first base, and a right fielder starting in left field. So that's what we're being fed, but it's not accurate because three of our positions are not being filled by players that actually play that position. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Beatty out in right field this spring. I wouldn't be surprised to see Vientos playing first base some. So it's just kind of all over the place. So I wanted to start with, in terms of Boston Red Sox, I'm going to put this just kind of starting with the lineup, the rotation, that sort of thing. I wanted to kind of throw that on the screen first. So go ahead and put that up there. So if they can see there. But so this year, I wanted to talk about Jarren Duran's first, looking to be plugged in that 3 spot there. Kind of talk about your thoughts on where he fits in with this team in terms of, are they asking him to be something he's not, or do you feel like this could be one of the few positives? Like to hear your thoughts on him and his value this year.
I thought that, listen, Duran is I would say, a delicate topic around this area. Now, again, I cannot say that when I was a younger fan, I did not love the players on my team and stuff like that. But Boston is the type of area that we love our players. We are dedicated to our players. We love our players. And sometimes it's hard to have hard conversations with people when it involves around some players. And Duran is one of those guys. I mean, the bottom line is the Red Sox have too many outfielders. They have too many outfielders, and Duran seemed like the most logical piece to move to try to get a pitcher or bullpen or a power hitter or, what we were lacking going into the off season. But I also understand, I think in the clubhouse, I think Duran matters in the clubhouse, and I think he matters to the young guys. And once we found out that someone like Alex Bregman wasn't coming back, who was clearly the leader of the team, I think them keeping Duran was the way to go. I believe that Duran I think he's going to have a little bit of a bounce back year. I think he had a really, really good year 2 years ago. He's the All-Star MVP, kind of burst onto the scene. He's always been a dynamic player. He's always been fast. He can hit for some pop. When he's hot, at the plate, he can, he could be a leadoff hitter. He could hit three. He could hit anywhere in the lineup, and he's fast. But he plays a below average outfield on a team that has already too many outfielders. I personally think he should be the designated hitter this year, because I don't, and then when somebody needs a day off, you can throw him in the field. You know what I mean? And he's not the worst.
But as an everyday, but yeah.
But yeah, exactly. He's not as good as the other guys that we have.
He's a lot like, if I may.
Yeah.
He's a lot like, if we could talk basketball for half a second, he's a wonderful sixth man. You could just come in, DH, like you said, relieve somebody else, and his speed is really, in my opinion, what does
game
it.
changer. It's game changer.
Game changer. He's on the base. He changes he gets on base. Whole dynamic changes. It's very 100%. Positive. So I get it. But yeah, to me, I agree with you as well. He's not a liability out there, but he's certainly not going to be a help.
No, and you have you're expecting a full year out of Roman Anthony in left field. Rafaela, in my opinion, should have won the Gold Glove in center field for the American League last year. He didn't, but he should have. And Wilyer Abreu is a 2-time in a row Gold Glover in right field. So we have good defense, and Roman is good in the field. He's not. I don't think he's at the caliber of those other two guys, but he's better than Duran. So when it comes to that, yeah. As far as him being in the 3-hole, I think the 2-hole or down lower, 7 or 8, to me would be an ideal. I would love to have Duran in the 7th or 8th hole where he's getting on base and the top of the order is coming. Because Roman proved, even in the short stint we had him last year, he's an on-base machine. So him leading off, I'm all good with. I think that makes sense. I feel like Duran could be that number 2 guy, but I understand not going lefty. Boom, boom, 1-2 to start the line. So I get it. I understand it. I think he'll succeed at 3. I think he'll be decent. The problem, and I know we're going to get into a bunch of stuff, but we don't have any. Yeah, the one question that the Red Sox need to figure out is who's going to hit the 3-run homer. Who's hitting the 3-run homer when we need the 3-run homer?
Abreu?
Maybe. Is he going to be healthy? I love Abreu, but is he going to be healthy all year?
No,
he hasn't been healthy. Yeah, he hasn't been healthy all year. Last year was the first year we saw Trevor Story play all year for us, and he was great. Can we guarantee that's going to happen again?
I don't want to jump ahead of our coverage. I think Trevor Story is the linchpin to this team.
Yeah.
If he can duplicate last season, we got a shot.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Yeah. But as far as Duran goes, I like Duran. I would have traded him. I personally would have traded him because I feel like the league – being somebody who watches him every day, he is a good dynamic player, but I think for people that don't watch, I think he's overvalued a bit amongst the league from what you hear and read. And he's not I think people still look at Duran and they he's 30. And 30's not old. Trust me. 30's not old, but I think people look at Duran and they think he's 24,
24. Yeah. 24.
And he's 30. So he's not some young prospect like a Meyer or he's not. He's a little older. It's a different, but I like the player.
Yeah.
I think He'd be great at trade deadline. Yeah. He would be great at the trade deadline.
If we need one piece and everybody else is healthy and performing, I think he was in the discussion for Joe Ryan last year at the trade deadline, which I think would have put us over the top last year, but they didn't want to make the move. So,
yeah. And now I'm not sure if moving Duran would be the answer to the question. We had one question in the chat about which move was not made that should have. So I wasn't sure your thoughts on that one.
Easy. Pete Alonso. He was leaving you guys. He wasn't going back. His wife is from Boston.
Yep. I wanted him badly.
What did the Red Sox need? A first baseman and somebody in the lineup that can hit 35 or 40 home runs and drive it. That is who if you're getting rid of Devers, that is the replacement for Devers. That is what you're getting. That's the guy. He was right there. All sources said he wanted to come here. Like the Red Sox were on his short list of places he want to go. The contract wasn't even bad. 32 million a year, like for 5 years. Sign me up. That should have been day one, signed, delivered, no problem. And they did typical Red Sox stuff where they operate like they're the Pittsburgh Pirates and they're cheap and they didn't want to do it. And then not only do you lose him, you don't get that power hitter. He goes to the Orioles.
I know.
And now he's going to be the power hitter in that young stud lineup. And you have to face him a bunch in your division for 5 straight years now when he should be on your team destroying everybody else. This is me starting to get angry. You see this?
No, I hear you. Because I'm with you because I'm a Met fan, but I live here and I have a partial season ticket plan, so I'm at Fenway a bunch. And I wanted to watch him. He's my favorite player.
Yeah.
And here's the thing I like most about him, besides the fact that he hits home runs. You know this, JP. He's in the lineup every day. Mm-hmm. Set it and forget it. He's there every day, and we all know the way that the dimensions of Fenway Park.
Oh, he would have been.
He had so many home runs in right field, left field. He would have killed it.
Yeah, and he would have been a guy just from and again, you guys saw him more day to day than me as Met fans, but he just would have been a guy that he would have been like a Boston legend immediately. Like the Boston people would have ate him up and been like, this is our dude. This is our dude. Like he seemed like a leader. You could have added another veteran leader to the clubhouse for the young guys. And it was just a no-brainer. It was right there for you. He wanted it. The fans wanted it. The team wanted it. And they just did what they've been doing for half a decade. They sit there and they say, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to spend money full throttle. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And they do. Now, again, I'm not going to say they didn't do anything because they made up for it with we'll talk about, but range. They made up for it. I think the team's going to be good.
Right.
But they've been lying and then they think the fans are stupid. Sam Kennedy. There's a whole thing we'll dive into it, but it's just,
I have a good friend that I work with, and I run a residential house on the Cape. I used to teach special education for the same company, and he's a big Red Sox fan, and he would say, "John, what are you doing? Why are you getting season tickets? You don't support this ownership."
Yeah.
So I love hearing it from you because you are speaking the truth.
Yeah, they're their own worst enemy, always. They put their foot in their mouths every time they talk. They think we're all idiots. And they're it's just unbelievable. They charge them. And again, the most expensive ticket in the game for a team that, again, will be a good team. But they don't invest like they used to. And they up the prices every year. And they tell us they're going to make these big, big moves. And they just don't. They're the interest kings. They're in on everybody, but they don't sign anybody. Well, I don't care if you're in on anybody. Yep. Make a move.
Yep.
Yes, their names they're always attached to all the top names, but they just don't make their biggest move is the move that they don't make.
Correct.
That's definitely the one thing, because I got the opportunity to go 2 years ago for the first time, and I was blown away about how respectful the fans were in Boston. Like I don't know why in my head I'm thinking Philly crowd, right? But it wasn't like that.
They're not Philly.
They were very supportive and stuff, but you're right about that statement about Alonso. He would be someone where the casual fan, if Alonso had 5 good years there, he would be in people's minds a 12-year player. Like, meaning even if he only gave 5, it would feel like 12 because that's how much they embrace that franchise. And so it was right there. And of course, I didn't want to see it happen, but the Orioles completely got me.
I don't know.
I was baffled by that. That just wasn't on the radar. And then it just started, then it was the next guy and the next guy. And so, I mean, when we sit back and think about it, I know this is a Red Sox podcast, but but with the short period of time losing Nimmo, Edwin Diaz, Alonso, McNeil, I made my peace with that. I wasn't too upset with that one, but I saw a lot of articles, so I want to get your perspective. And Darren, feel free to jump in since you're going to be going to a few games this year as well. Sometimes these articles, they can be a little misleading, of course. And so one of this article, it says, and this is from MLB.com. It says, thanks to an aggressive offseason by Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow, this is the most talented rotation the Red Sox have had in years. It's a bold statement, and looking at the rotation and whatnot. So I'd like to get your thoughts on that. Obviously, they've got some really good names up there on the top, but in years, would you agree with that? Or is that a little bit of an over?
I mean, as a whole, 1 through 5, I think so. I would the fifth starter right now is they're having a competition this spring between 3 or 4 guys. It's Oviedo, it's Tolle, it's Early. I personally would have the kids start in the minors and just let them pitch for half a year in AAA or AA and just let them get innings in and let the arms move. And Tolle, I really, really like. If you were going to use him I would actually like him to be the 7th inning guy. Now, I see his value as being a starter, but I also see his value as being him in the 7th, Whitlock in the 8th, Chapman in the 9th. And then I think once Chapman is done after this contract, Tolle could slide in and be a 50 saves a year guy for you because he throws gas and that fastball is unhittable and it rises and it has heat. And when and he doesn't have great secondary stuff, he's young enough that he can generate the secondary stuff. But when you're a closer, you need one other pitch. You need 2 pitches. And I feel like Tolle could be that guy.
That's the formula for success. I mean, you think about it. Wetman was the closer for the Yankees when they won the World Series in '99. They went on that run. Mm-hmm. And who was the setup man in the 8th inning? Rivera. Yeah. And
he learned the cutter.
Rivera just pops right in. That's a great way to do it.
And Wetman helped him learn that cutter. Because Wetman threw the cutter. Good. And then Rivera was like, all right, I'm going to make this the best cutter that's ever been thrown.
My question with pitching, though, is Nick Pivetta. What's your thoughts?
I liked Pivetta when he was here. He was a dog. Mm-hmm. He was the guy. And now, again, these were the dark years. We weren't that great of a team. But I feel like every big game that we had during those years, Pivetta was on the mound for it. And Pivetta stood he's just a dog. He's the guy that I would want in the trenches fighting with me at any time. For the money, though, I thought it was the right decision not to bring him back, even though he was unbelievable for San Diego.
I bring him up because I think he's a microcosm of, this is my 3rd year with tickets for the Red Sox in a row, of what's beautiful about the Red Sox. They're all dogs. Yeah. They're all tough. They're all hungry. They all respect their fans. They respect the game. You don't see showboating out there. It's just tough, and nobody feels overpowered. Because you think about this. Listen, for me, I don't want to rant, but I'm going to 30 seconds. You look at Toronto, right? I mean, Toronto could be the class of the division. I don't see a big talent differential between Toronto and the Red Sox.
There isn't. There wasn't last year either.
Yeah, that's my point. To what you were saying, you kind of triggered the thought when you were talking before. They have some good players, but they could have got one other player, could have brought them over the top. So true.
Yeah. As far as the rotation goes and things like that, I agree with you. I mean, you have to be tough to play in this town because the fans let you hear it. You go to the supermarket, if you're batting 100 for 10 games and you're in the supermarket, somebody's giving you crap. I don't want to swear, but somebody's giving you shit. Yeah, it's happening. If somebody's going to say something to you when you get out of the dugout and you're running and we're on a 6-game losing streak, they're booing your ass.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah, we don't mess around and especially the last 20 plus years of success in this area, the expectations are ridiculous in any sport you play in this city. So you have to have a certain, the players that don't make it here, the Carl Crawfords and the guys like that don't make it here. It's not because they weren't great players. It was because they could not handle that. They could not handle that, and they crumbled. Edgar Renteria. Those type of, there's certain guys that were all-stars before they got here and were all-stars again once they left, but they could not handle being here because it's not an easy place to play.
How do you feel about, I'm going to go in the Wayback Machine for a second. How do you feel about Garcia Parra not getting he technically got a ring that one year that he was traded, but you know what I'm saying? He never got to be on the field and celebrate with his he is sort of like that little engine that almost did, isn't it? I mean, he married Mia Hamm, so great for him. But
he was a icon of the area.
Yep.
He was batted 372, rookie of the year. Like, he was an icon of the area. He was our best player. He was, in my opinion, he was always looked at as the third of the three of those shortstops. Until A-Rod became A-Rod, he was the best one of those three. Nomar, he was the best hitter of the three. He was great. And then I think that the way he left, I think him sulking in the dugout in Yankee Stadium
was it
left. Yeah. I think the fans love him. They still do when he doesn't come around often, but when he does, we adore him still. But I think that in 2004, him sulking in the dugout when we were like winning and close in a big game, and he's sulking because he got pulled out. And I think that left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth. And I think he's appreciated around it, but I don't think he's viewed as like the Red Sox legend that he should be because of that. And then also it was the timing. Like, if we would have traded him in 2004 and we don't win our first World Series to 2007, I think that's different. But we trade him in 2004 and then we win in 2004. It's like, it's almost like the Devers thing. It's almost like, we needed to trade him and then we won once we traded him. So maybe he was the problem kind of thing, and I think that it was it kind of murks the water a little bit. You know what I mean?
And the thing is too, I think he went to the Cubs, correct? And then
then he got hurt immediately.
Well, I was going to say, I think it just took his heart.
Yeah, Noma with the accent, the Noma, like he was built to play here, and he was awesome, and he was great with the media. He was snarky, he was a smart ass, but he was like funny, and like he was like the perfect guy, Italian guy in Boston. Like, he was like the prototype, and he could hit. He was the best hitter, like pure hitter.
Yeah, and the whole thing with the gloves.
And the freak ritual and all of it. You had people mocking, like they would do it with, like, it was just.
David Wright loved him. David Wright did that in an All-Star game one time, just as an homage to him.
Yeah, and he was a great player.
You mentioned earlier about there are certain people that can't play in Boston. I believe it's very, very true about New York, Boston, Philly for evil reasons. They just, but
they'll boo Santa Claus, as we know.
Yeah, but and for no reason, like Boston, New York, they'll boo you for a reason. There's like, here's why. A great example of people who cannot play in Boston was the Panda. He went over there and he just ate himself out of the league. It was just, he ended up going back to San Francisco, but he could not handle Boston.
No, he got the money, and he enjoyed himself, and I don't think he understood what that expectation brought. Yep. He was great in San Francisco. They won 3 World Series. He was a focal point and focal piece of that whole thing. Mm-hmm. Cool, but San Francisco, they have great fans out there, but that's a laid back.
Yes.
All right, kind of laid back. Oh, we're winning. All right, cool. Yeah, all right, we're winning. Let's go. Ooh, we're winning. Boston is, you better win. If we're paying you all this money and you stink, you better turn it around, or you can get on out of here. We don't need you around it.
I lived in California for 16 years, and I would go to 5 to 10 games up in San Francisco every year. You're absolutely spot on.
Yeah, they're good fans. They're great fans. Yeah, but they're laid back.
Laid back.
Oh, we won, we lost, or whatever. Everybody has diehards. I'm sure they have people that live and die.
Oh, no doubt. But like, New York, in your face.
Yeah, New York, Philly, Boston, Chicago, Detroit. Yes. Those cities, we live and die by it every day. It could be a Tuesday in May.
Yes.
And if we blow a game, there are people like going to work pissed the next day.
Yes. Not a lot of productivity on those days.
Yeah.
And speaking of diehards, one of our diehard listeners, Soup Beads, says, have you been to spring training for the Red Sox? I'll preface that before you kind of answer with, I've done most spring training. I have not made it out to the new park in Fort Myers there.
Yeah.
But now, so I'll ask kind of two-part question. Have you been? And then number two, if you were to visit for spring training, you kind of have to make some decisions, right? Because here we are early or late February, but early spring training, you're not going to see more than one or two players on a road game, even a home game. Maybe you're lucky to get three. So you potentially want to go a little bit later into March, but then you have the World Baseball Classic and stuff. So would you be looking for that best deal, for that best matchup, or just what works best for your schedule when it comes to picking a spring training game? Because everybody's different in what they prefer.
Yeah, I have not been. I've been down there in the area, but I have not seen like a Sox game down there. If I went, I would probably aim for March. I feel like by the time we get to March, most of the starters are at least playing every day. It might only be for 3 innings or, one at bat or 2 at bats, but everybody's playing almost every day to get into the rhythm. This year is obviously different because we do have the World Baseball Classic, but that's not an every year thing. So if it was a normal year, I would aim for mid-March, mid to late March, but like mid-March. I feel like once you're in the middle of March, especially now that the season basically starts in March, at the end of March every year now, I feel like you go in the middle 2 weeks of March, you're seeing the position players play for probably 5 to 6 innings, maybe 7 innings. You're seeing a starter go 5, probably. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're seeing legitimate guys because the season's starting in a week and a half and they got to get ready, So I feel like that's the win. Now those games are going to be more expensive to go to than the games at the end of February that started this weekend, but I still would aim for that because I want to see, don't get me wrong, I want to see, potential kids and like the future too, but I want to see them getting ready,
Yeah, and it's a different world. 10 years ago when I would go with my father every spring training to several games, they played the majority of the Grapefruit League teams. Now they basically, because we lost so many different teams to the other coast and stuff, now you're seeing basically 4 teams, maybe 3, sometimes 5. That's like once. So it's not quite the same with that. But, Darren, were you ever a scorekeeping guy at the game? Because I feel
I used to be, and I want to get back. I used to be, and I want to get back to it.
Because I feel so bad for the person doing it. Like when you go to a regular season game, it's one thing, right? But the poor person that's going to a spring training game thinking, oh, this is going to be a piece of cake. And the 95 substitutions, especially in the 5th inning, the 7th inning, sometimes the 9th inning, you'll see a second number 5. Sometimes that even happens. I realized that was the thing. But, and of course, the higher the number, you think this guy what is he doing here? But so I was curious if you were a scorekeeping guy because
what was best was when I was covering the Fresno Grizzlies, the AAA team for the Giants, then the Astros, and the Nationals. I had to do it for the job, which was great, because I enjoy that. I enjoy that. I don't like a lot of side chatter. I want to watch the game, and
it's tough when like I don't mind if the game's going on and it's a baseball related question, but like the between innings, that's when like the random, oh, I got a new vehicle or those kind of stuff. It is difficult when someone's speaking about nonsense during an actual inning to respectfully tell them to stop. But like it is a thing because you're there. It's it's quiet, but like you're taking it all in, and you get in those kind of conversations because there's always that guy, right? There's always that guy behind you. Oh yeah, so my second Lamborghini's in the shot, and they're talking purposely loud so you can hear everything that they're saying, and you just want them to just stop. But and even with the spring training prices, though, I was going to go to the only day I really could make in February would have been opening day for the Mets, but they were starting at $75 for lawn.
Ridiculous.
For
10 game, no.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, the price is just. I mean, that's just everything is insane right now. And I can imagine. Yeah, like I feel like it would have to really be worth the trip, especially in spring training, when you know where you're getting. You're not getting full games like like we do when it's a regular season. So, but yeah, I mean, I would love to go down there. Like I said, I've been to the area, but like not when they were playing or to see them play. But yeah, I would love to eventually get down there for a week or something, check it out, get to see kind of, the other things that are going on around the area. That Polar Park is supposed to be really, really nice. Like it's like Fenway Junior, the little mini monster.
I heard that.
And
they
like
made
all
it
that
look
stuff.
just like it.
Yeah, it's like a little mini monster and things like that. So like it's supposed to be like a pretty great experience for a minor league experience. So that's typical. Like that's where the Red Sox have no problem spending money on stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they'll do that all day. They'll make, and don't get me wrong, Fenway Park when I was a child compared to Fenway Park now is a completely different experience. Fenway Park is insane now, the things that are around it and in it and all that stuff. And I'm glad that they didn't get rid of Fenway because I care about the history of the game. And, it's a different sport, but like I hate what's going on with stadiums and football right now and things like I don't want that happening to baseball at all. Me too. So like I'm glad they kept Fenway around, but also that's part of the problem because Fenway sells out no matter what. So they don't have to do the things that they need to do to actually run a great baseball team because they make their money no matter what, because it's a tourist attraction. If, our team's going to Fenway this year, we should go on vacation and go to Fenway Park because that is a historic baseball stadium. And B, fans around here, even no matter how much we bitch about the team, we're always going to go to the games because we love it too much. We're never going to not. The only way we're really going to make our point across to Henry and the owners to either start acting like the Red Sox again or get the hell out of here is if we don't go to the games, and it's just never going to happen. So I don't see an end in sight.
Unfortunately, you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. And a great example of that is Mike just talked about it. He planned, I haven't been to Fenway. I want to go, right? If you're a baseball fan and you have the means, you have to go to Fenway. Let's be it. You have to go to Fenway. You got to go to Chicago, Wrigley Field, and now if you're on the West Coast, you got to go to Dodger Stadium because that thing is what the third oldest stadium out there.
Yeah.
And it still looks new.
Yeah.
And they haven't changed it much. It's LA. Even though he's been unfortunately dead for 5-6 years now, you still hear Vin Scully. Welcome to Dodger baseball, and you get chills.
And I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't want to. No. And I remember, like, if you've been lucky enough to go to Fenway, like you remember the first time you walk up because you're under the stadium when you get in.
Yep.
Yes.
Because Fenway, Rick. Fenway's even a little bit different than Wrigley because Wrigley is in the middle of a neighborhood, but it's more wide open, the area. Fenway, like you're walking down the street and there's businesses and apartments, and then there's Fenway Park. Like there's no, it's just there, right? And there's businesses on the other side of the monster. There's it's just in the middle of everything.
There's a place to see bands right next door. It's crazy.
Yeah, like it's just in the middle of everything. And when you enter Fenway, you're underground. Like you're underground from the street. And the way you get, no matter where you're sitting in Fenway, the way you get up is you walk up these ramps. And you will never forget the first time you walk up the ramp and just everything is green.
Yep.
The grass is green. The monster's green.
You give me chills.
Yep. Like this color green, this great uniform that they came out with last year.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I want to talk about that when you're done. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you just never forget it. And I've been to Fenway. I've been lucky enough to have gone to Fenway hundreds of times for games because back then you could go to a game for $10. Right. When I was luckily when I was a teenager learning to drive, driving 16, 17, 18, 19, you could get a bleacher seat for $22. And I could work 12 hours a week at Sears and go to a game if I wanted to. It's just a different, that's not really the case now but like it feels the same the 150th time you do it than it did the first. And I'm a 40-year-old dude, and I haven't really been to a ton of Red Sox games post pandemic, just in general. Right. And part of it was the last couple of years I was a boycott. I wasn't giving them my money because Henry. I wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
This is a team. I still feel that way, but like I like the team. I know we haven't really dived in like to 2026 yet, but like I like the team. But like Yeah, I know the next time I go to Fenway, when I walk up the ramp and get there and I kind of just take that first breath, just kind of standing there and looking around and hearing the organ and hitting the ball, seeing the ball crack I'm just going to be like there aren't other. Babe Ruth played on that field.
That's right.
Willie Mays, Ted Williams, DiMaggio, like all these guys played on that field. And there's 3 stadiums that can say that nowadays. Because they built a new Yankee Stadium, so you can't even say that over there.
Can't say that.
It's LA, it's Wrigley, and it's Fenway. Those are the 3 stadiums where you could be like Ernie Banks played there.
That's right. Oh,
Willie Mays was in center field at Dodger Stadium. Sandy Koufax pitched off that mound.
That's right.
You know, when you walk into Fenway, it's just, everything kind of just stops and like you're almost like nothing else that's being talked about at that moment is relevant because you're just kind of in awe of what you're seeing. Remember,
it feels special. Like it feels special. And look, I've been to Camden Yards. I've been to Toronto. Those are nice, great stadiums. And I had great times there and like stuff like that. But like, it's just a different, like, it's a different feeling. It's a completely different feeling. Like you feel the history and you feel like, this is like special grounds. Like I'm on like hallowed ground.
It is hollow ground. It is. It
you know
really
what I mean?
is.
Yeah, that's what it feels
I remember one of the 2 games I had to do the 2, the back-to-back. So one of the games we went to, we were lucky to get a foul ball from Randy Rosarina. I think we were like 7 rows back or so. And I was just like blown away. Just the moment hit me like I'm at Fenway and this is actually happening. And then like even going before the games in left field, like kind of, watching batting practice and stuff. It's just a different, because I've been trying to do one stadium a year. I did Cincinnati last year. It was a great experience, but there was nothing like watching BP and Fenway. Just amazing because you're so close to the action. You really are.
And
that wall is just like.
I was going to say when you walk up the ramp and you see the wall, and if it's your first time seeing the Green Monster, it's like holy crap! Like you see it on TV and you're like, wow, that's just a giant wall. But then you get there and you're like, man, that thing is massive. Like that is it's just a spectacle. It's just a spectacle.
And even the Sitco sign over the Green Monster, it's all
the John Hancock up here, like above the center field. Like it's just all you can see the oh my god, I'm drawing a blank on the big building, but you can see the big building in the back that always says no Sox and all that. Like it's just you can see Boston Children's Hospital. You can see these things, these landmarks.
The Jimmy Fund sign, all of it is. Yeah. So, like Mike, you mentioned it.
The Prudential Center. That's what I was drawing a blank of.
Yeah, I was drawing blank myself.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk about the green hat for a second.
Yeah.
But, Mike, you kind of mentioned it, and JPJ, you did as well. And that is the fans there are beautiful. Mike went there as a visitor, and he was rooting for Tampa, and but he is respectful to the team, the Red Sox, and respectful to Fenway, and somewhere inside deep, Red Sox fans know that it's their responsibility not to go out of their way, but to make people feel comfortable and to leave and have that experience that Mike just shared. Am I wrong?
No, but I also think that that's just who we are as people. Like, don't get me wrong, there is a very dark past. I do not shy away from the dark past of some stories you hear, and if you read the history, like Boston is not.
Oh, 100%.
That's there. I'm not saying that, but I believe that Boston, and people always call me a homer, and they think you're just from there. I believe that New England people, Boston people, are truly the nicest people on the planet. We are the type of people that if don't get me wrong, if you're in our way or you're annoying us or you're being rude or you're being a fan that isn't, if you're a visitor, we're gonna either we'll tell you at first, or we will show you where to go. Right. All right. But if somebody is in need or somebody needs help or somebody needs that, we are the first people that would absolutely take the shirt off our back to help somebody. That is who we are as people. That's just the nature, I feel like, of this area.
I totally agree.
People from the outside, they see, the arrogance, they see the attitude, the accent, and they don't call us massholes for a reason, right? So like they're like, I understand why that comes with the territory, but people that have spent time here or people that actually come here to visit, whether it's vacation or whatever, and you actually talk to the people, meet the people, all stuff like that, I think it changes your opinion of Boston as a city, because the people are really the heartbeat of the city. Like, we're tough. We're head down, always going. Like, we're tough. We got to work hard. We work hard. We make sure everything's set for everybody. But like, if somebody needs something, we will help you. We will help you. And that's just kind of.
Yeah, that's exactly on point. And we have a question here. Thoughts on the 26 team overall. So if you had, I don't know, we'll kind of maybe word it this way. You had a minute to respectfully yell at the clouds, vent in there in terms of what could have, should have, in terms of their product this year, in terms of what to expect.
So I will say it's like there's a little bit of good and bad, because I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled with the Alex Bregman thing. Was a fiasco. That was an absolute fiasco.
I was shocked he left.
Yeah, if you're gonna make that trade for Rafi Devers, and the thought is we're making that trade because Bregman is here, then you need to ensure that you're keeping Alex Bregman, because now that you didn't keep Alex Bregman, and you also traded Kyle Harrison, you literally traded Rafi Devers for nobody. Because there is not one person left on this team that was part of that Rafi Devers deal. And then when you don't bring Bregman back or sign a Pete Alonso or a Kyle Schwarber or one of these guys that is malpractice to me. That is business malpractice to me. That's how serious I take that. Like, that is a joke. That is a joke. And then I like the moves we made, though. Like, I like Sonny Gray, the player. I think as a number 3 starter, Sonny Gray
he's perfect at 3. Perfect at 3.
Yes,
perfect at 3.
I love the signing of Ranger Suarez. I think he is a dog. I think he is an all-star. I think he's a legitimate number 2 behind Garrett Crochet, who I think was the best pitcher in the American League last year. You have that rotation. You slide Brian Bayo from your 3 guy to your 4 guy. I love that so much better, because Bayo was good last year. And then you fill out your 5th, whether it's Oviedo, whether it's Early, who I really like, Connolly Early, whether it's Early, Oviedo, Tolley, Cutter Crawford is back and healthy this year. Whoever is that 5th guy, it's the best rotation in the American League.
Well, I think that's why they're going to be able to challenge for the division. I mean,
I think they're going to win I'm picking them to win the division.
So am I.
Yeah, because the lineup again should have a guy that hits 30, 35 home runs in it. It doesn't. But 1 through 9, the lineup is better this year than it was last year. Wilson Contreras, great. That was a great trade by Breslow. I'll give him his props. I don't think he's been the greatest at times. That's a great trade. I like Wilson Contreras. I like picking up. Now, again, I think we needed to do better, but I think Caleb Durbin's going to be pretty good. I think he's going to be a pretty good player at third base. I'm excited for a full healthy year of Roman Anthony. I want to see a full healthy year of Marcelo Meyer. I think Christian Campbell's going to make some noise at some point this year. I think Carlos Narvaez, who wore down at the end of the year, who we found out was injured since like May, I think in his second year, he's going to be good, because he was a borderline all-star last year as a rookie, if he's healthy. I think he's going to be really good. Romy Gonzalez, you play him again, and he's a little banged up, but you play him against lefties. He mashes lefties. Duran, I think, will have a bounce back. I think we're going to be good. I think we're going to win the division. I think we can make it to the ALCS. But I need to know, because for 3 straight years, we have been flirting around the playoffs when the trade deadline comes, and they do nothing. Last year, they did worse than nothing. They got Jordan Hicks, who stunk, and they got Dustin May, who stunk.
So yeah,
there's nothing like 4:30 p.m. on a trade deadline day where you're just like, again, this was because you hear for 3 weeks this name, that name, this name, that name over and over again, and then nothing happens at all. And
it's
then
been 3 straight years where we have been competing for playoffs. And it's like, oh, they definitely need to add at the All-Star break. And you hear Brett Breslow and Sam Kennedy and all the, We're definitely looking to improve it. Yep, we're definitely going to do it. And then they're interested in everybody, but they get nobody.
Yeah. I think the reason why, because Toronto has automatically been, it seems like Toronto's been given the number 2 spot in the power rankings because they were in the World Series and they've already been awarded the division, it seems like. And it's just not, it could happen, but it's not like we're talking about the Dodgers here where it's, I mean, something horribly is going to have to go wrong for them not to trip into the playoffs. But Toronto, like, you don't win year to year. Their format was great for 2025, but you don't always win those kind of games that they won. And so there's a lot of other teams in there. Unfortunately, it seems like the Rays are going to be on the opposite side of that. But a team with a rotation, especially the 1 through 3, and could you dare say, like you said, 1 through 4, if they're having those, continual series where that matches up with a lot of these bottom dwelling teams, especially like the Angels, second half of the season, but a lot of these bottom dwelling teams, the White Sox, stuff like that, they're going to rack up those wins. And they're going to be a lot better than people expected, because from what I've seen, at least, there's a lot of 4th place Red Sox chatter, and I don't understand that at all.
They're wrong.
Yeah, they're wrong. Yeah.
And speaking of being wrong, I know we're running out of time soon. I want to talk about the green. With Boston. I was so wrong because I'm a traditionalist. Mike,
me
brought
too.
up earlier, yelling at clouds,
mm-hmm.
and I know Red Sox are traditionalists. And I was not all hyped about the yellow jerseys, the Saturday jerseys. I was like, oh, the green. I know they're saying it's for the green monster and blah, blah, blah. Boy, was I wrong.
They're awesome.
Took off. They are awesome.
Yeah.
They are awesome.
It took me a little while to come along, because I actually like the yellows too. It took me a while to come along to them, like a decent amount of time. Oh, my cat just knocked the door open. So it took a little time for me to get used to the yellow and the blue uniforms, but the 617, like for the train and like the kind of it made sense immediately. The second I saw the green jerseys with the yellow numbers and again, another thing, if you've been to Fenway,
yep.
And the green monster, when they're if the Red Sox are up and they've scored 2 runs, but the inning isn't over, it's a yellow number that they put up because the inning is still happening. And then once the inning ends, they change the yellow number to a white number because the inning is over. So that's kind of how they do it in the old, because they have an old fashioned scoreboard where they have a guy back there in the green monster literally putting up the numbers. Like, it's very old school, and
I love that. Yeah.
I love it. And when I saw the hat, when I saw the jersey in particular, I was like, oh, that's the green monster. Like, the jersey's the green monster. And immediately I was like, I love that. I was like, and I'm a homer, but I was like, that's the best alternate jersey in the league. Like that. The color works, and I love how they've kind of done it that, like, that's the Friday uniform, the yellow is the Saturday uniform, and then the traditional Red Sox home uniforms are the Sunday afternoon, Sunday matinee. I kind of love how they've done that every week, and I think that it just works.
I had to move toward it. I mean, not only just because this, I was like, wow, this works. This works.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy, and if people are happy, I'm happy.
Yeah, some teams got their retro jersey, those jerseys horribly wrong, but the teams that got it right got it right. So I know we only have about 5 minutes, so that's okay. I want to tap into one wrestling comment. It's not really a question, but it sort of is. And then Darren will take us away with the final could be anything question, if that's cool with you. Absolutely. So I've always been a WWE guy, and I've enjoyed AEW for what it's been. And like this toxicity online about like they can't both be good, and you can't have other promotions. It's got to be the big WWE, all that kind of stuff. So I say that having always been a WWE guy, and I try to be fair. And, maybe, the common thread with AEW, and there hasn't been stories, and with WWE, it's the same old, predictable, safe, Triple H, that sort of thing. But I'm going to make a bold statement, and I want you to call me out if I'm horribly wrong with my bold statement, because I know it's still early in it. But I think that the current AEW main event scene, forget about everything else. Maybe they're not doing certain things right with this one and that one. But is it fair to say that the current AEW main event scene borderlines or could be even better than the 97 to 02 WWE main event scene? No, there were big name players there, but it seems like they are. I know MJF's at the helm, but it seems like they're firing on all cylinders when it comes to the main event scene right now. Even crossing over to House of Glory this weekend, I thought that was awesome.
Oh, yeah, that was great. To me, for me, and again, you know me, I watch both. I love both. I'm critical of both. I talk about both. I think AEW has been the superior product for going on 10 months now, like far and away throughout the whole shows. They are telling good. The main event scene is, listen, when you got MJF, you got Hangman Adam Page, you got Swerve Strickland, you got Kenny Omega, you got Brody King, you got those guys floating around. That's the core of your main event. Andrade is the core of your main event scene. Your matches that you have for those titles are going to be some of the best that we see. That Swerve Kenny Omega match on Dynamite last week, if you're a wrestling fan and you have not seen that match, you go watch that match because that was for free. That was for free on a Wednesday night. And that is a match that people, and myself included, would have paid $50 for a pay-per-view to see, because that had never happened before. And it was worth every second of it. And it was incredible. And they've been pumping that out week after matches like that, week after week after week for like 2 to 3 solid months right now. And they're firing on all cylinders, man. I think there's a chance. Now, again, money-wise, box office-wise, no, because WWE's
right.
They're the big. Come on, who are we kidding? But I'm talking, when you're talking pure pro wrestling, I think that 2026, I think AEW is going to outdo WWE when it comes to wrestling, like wrestling shows. That's how good I think they've been doing. They've been hitting on all cylinders. They've improved so much with the women's division as well, and their signings they're actually using and making use of. And I think Tony Khan's online presence has been a lot better, where he's just going on there and being a promoter and saying the right things and doing the right thing. I just think they buttoned it up over there, and I think that they have been humming for a year. Yeah, I really do.
And unfairly, so many. And I'm not saying, and obviously Collision has a lot of room to grow, but
even that's been pretty good though.
Completely, they don't even consider putting in the rotation. But, and again, I say this as a WWE guy through and through, the people that are saying that, like, have they not seen what SmackDown has been 95% of the time? Unfortunately, it can be great, but we get a lot of rinse and repeat, insert this person, insert that person. At least, yes, maybe AEW could do a little bit more storytelling, whatever, but at least it seems like they are week to week making strides to get better. And like you said, it's evident. So, I'm glad we got to chat on that. I'm sure we'll have more conversation in the future, but I just feel that strongly about the main event scene, because we're talking about guys like Jay White that are not in there right now. Will Ospreay's coming back.
Samoa Joe even is still hurt. Yeah. Like
exactly.
there's a lot of stuff going on. Then you have, Okada's still there, and Konosuke Takeshita is a star. Eddie King, they're loaded. They're loaded right now.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, thank you. So Darren, we've got 2 minutes left, so I'm going to go ahead and let you hit us with that. Darren's final could be anything question. Shoot it.
It's actually Red Sox related. Give me your Red Sox Mount Rushmore.
Ooh. All right. David Ortiz, no question, the most important player in the history of the franchise. I understand old heads. You're going to come at me, Ted Williams. I love Ted Williams. He's on there too. David Ortiz is the most important person in the history of that whole franchise. No question. David Ortiz, Ted Williams, Pedro Martinez. The fourth one's tough for me. The fourth one is tough for me. Those three to me are no doubters. I feel like those three are no doubters to me. The fourth one, you could talk me into a bunch of people. You could talk me into Tim Wakefield. I would be okay with that. You could talk me into Clemens. Clemens might be up there. But if I had to pick a fourth one, can I be honest? I'm going to pick Jason Varitek.
No, that's fine. I could tell you, I had two that were different, though I didn't think Martinez. I'd put him over Clemens.
Yeah.
And I would say my fourth will be Carl Yastrzemski, because
that's fair.
Because he almost hit 400 and he brought us to the 67 World Series. I mean, we didn't win it, but
Yaz would be like the fifth guy for me.
Right. Yeah, it's right there.
But again, not that I got to see Ted Williams play, but like obviously I didn't get to see Yaz play at all, which is unfortunate. Veritek, I just said off the cuff, but Manny's up there. Kurt Schilling, I could argue because of 04 alone. Terry Francona is a name that I could throw up there. I think he's the best manager in the history of the Red Sox. But yeah, Yaz, if you want to put Yaz in that fourth slot, I would totally be okay with that too.
I'm more than fine with everybody you said. They're all, like you said, they're all there.
To me, it's Ortiz, it's Ted, it's Pedro, and then we can have a discussion about, because everybody played a role in all of it, you know.
100%.
Yeah, and we're all in agreement that Pablo Sandoval just misses the cut. So
of course, yes.
But and Eileen, jump in, and thank you for watching, Eileen, as well. My wife, my Rays fan through and through, and I'm excited. This is the first year that they are not blocking out the game, so I do have to still get the MLB Network thing again, but or ticket, but we'll be able to watch games while they're happening instead of 2 hours after last pitch. So excited for that. So
are they back in Tropicana?
Yes, they will be back. Okay. They are back at Tropicana this year, and they're still doing the $10 seats. They're actually not nosebleeds. They're still lower level, but they're more like by the bullpen, but they are still doing $20 or $10 seats, which is awesome. So I respect that. The drive to Tampa is absolutely crazy though. It's 3 hours. It feels like 7, but they still do have the $10 seats. So it's worth it. Yeah. So, but thank you so much. Again, absolutely. As we close, if you wouldn't mind just one final time sharing where people can find you on social media, and then we'll close this thing down.
Yeah, you can find me, JPJ Loves Gaming, on all social medias. I also have a Twitch. MLB The Show 26 is coming out in about 3 weeks or so. I play a ton of that on the channel. I play franchise. I dive into the online stuff there as well. I also do a lot of pro wrestling stuff. You can find me at a bunch of different places, Wednesday nights, Thursday nights, and Sunday afternoons. Plus, I think for this baseball season, last year I started to dabble. I think this baseball season I'm probably going to be doing more short form recaps of Red Sox stuff and maybe baseball as a whole on my socials. So just follow me at JPJ Loves Gaming everywhere, and you'll find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. I was really looking forward to this. Of course, we'll be back live this Thursday. We'll have Jimmy T of the PWC Network. We're going to kind of do a preview predictions of Elimination Chamber. I want to be here for that. And tomorrow drops our 30 Parks in 30 Days, 1 10-minute episode each and every day starting tomorrow. That'll take you all the way through the start of the regular season. So please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. And until next time, we'll see you around the ballpark. Bye, guys.